to the country blue, Woody and Lew got the sports for you. From Boston streets to Kentucky's fields, get ready, folks, for the thrill it yields. Woody and Lew, sports and you, talking games, we love it's true. Every play, every score, let's dive in, it's time for more. Lacing up the boots and calling plays, debates and laughs for all the days. From Fenway Park to Derby Run, sports talk magic just begun. Woody Lew, sports and you, sideline stories coming through. Every cheer, heartbeat soar, tune in now, we'll give you more. Celtic screams to Wildcats roar, touchdowns, goals, and so much more. Grab a seat, enjoy the ride, Woody Lew right by your side.
The views expressed by the hosts are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Department of Defense, the U.S. government, or any of its agencies. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. No attorney-client relationship is formed by providing this information, and nothing herein should be relied upon as legal counsel. For legal advice specific to your situation, please consult a qualified attorney. Hey, Braxton, it's good to see you. We are live.
We're live, episode 10, Woody Lew, Sports and You, House of Mouse edition. Dan, I'm excited to be here. Glad we made it to double digits on our episode count.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Getting double digits. Did not continue our Iron Man streak as we predicted a few episodes ago, but it's good to be back on the air with you. Do you want to address last episode's technical difficulties before we get into the topics and segments of episode 10?
Yeah, for sure. So, last episode, however many weeks ago that was prior to my Disney trip, I thought we were really kind of firing on all cylinders and having one of our better segments, better episodes. And then somehow through producer Colin and his ample amount of failures that he's proven time and time again, I go off air. I was able to re-log in. You were still on air. I was talking, waving my hands. You couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear you. No one could see anybody. We ended up having to cut the show short, and that was very upsetting and just another example of Colin and what he's been doing lately. More on him later. It was unfortunate, but the cool thing about that is even though with the travesty of that episode, the lost episode, if you will, we did reach our milestone of 20 subscribers on YouTube following that episode.
Yeah, episode 9, I thought we were firing on all cylinders, and then just catastrophe hit that we were not prepared for. That was a first where the stream just cut out. We probably should have been better prepared for that and have a contingency plan, which we do now, and I'll share with our award-winning listeners in just a second, but you wanted to say something.
Well, I think what's most impressive is we've been doing all 10 now episodes of this in different forms for the most part. Our first 5 episodes, you had a different setup every time you tuned in to watch over several months. And the fact that it took till episode 9, 45 minutes into episode 9 for something like completely catastrophic to happen is kind of impressive in my book.
Yeah, it was. I just didn't think it was going to happen to us, and it did. And it kind of messed up our flow that night, the lost episode. But I do think it's important to share with the Woody Lew Sports and You, our listeners, if we do encounter technical difficulties ever again, you may see this next screen. Do not tune out of the YouTube live because we will be back, but you may see this. So
are we back live?
We're back. We're live.
That was a good test run right there. Test. No, that was good. That was good work, Dan. I'm glad you did that because I think the amount of oh no's you put out whenever it went down was impressive. Kaylee was making fun of me before the show about me trying to do a cap cut. And I think our success would be a lot higher if we were able to tap into the algorithm on all of the Instagram, Facebook, TikTok shorts. I've tried cap cut, can't do it. So if you want to be our cap cut person, let us know. We will pay something. But I would have loved to get a cap cut and a reel of the amount of oh no's, have an oh no tracker on Dan and all that.
That might be one of our catchphrases here on Woody and Lew Sports and You. Oh, no.
The only times I've heard you say that many oh no's was on the show that day, and then you hitting into the water on 9 at Black Creek. More on that later.
Do you want to jump right in? That we had that slotted last, but if you want to we'll just get it out of the way. I think right now,
we'll get out of the way.
We want to belabor the rematch, but
and out of respect to Dan, he made it very clear that he didn't want this to be an emphasis on the show. He didn't think we should cover too much of it. We didn't really need to talk about it that much, just kind of in and out. So I'm gonna do my best to do that.
Okay.
So last episode we talked about the fact that me and Dan had our two matches. It was really two 18 holes, but we were counting it up as a 36-hole match. He won. He won both days, and he won by strokes with those 36 holes. We had our rematch on Saturday at Black Creek, a decent little track down in Pembroke, Georgia, just up the road. Good little course. Greens were okay on the front, iffy on the back. But really, the tail of that 18 was going into the day. Dan had a couple excuses out the gates. He complained about his drive distance there. He had some intestinal issues that he had to deal with in the clubhouse prior to teeing off. But no, it was fun. I ended up winning by 4 strokes, and really the tale of this story was Dan had a 2-stroke lead going into hole 9.
Yes.
On hole 9, Dan hits it left about 5 feet in front of some water, probably about, what were you, about like 90 out from the green?
Yeah, I had a pretty good look at it. That was one of my better drives. It was a little wayward. Thankfully, it wasn't in the water, but I hit it well. I was
fairway, right of fairway, a little shorter than Dan. I hit my shot first. I stick it about 7 feet from the pin.
It was an incredible shot.
I take the cart back over to Dan for him to take his shots as he's staring at a pond of water and my ball 7 feet from the pin. First one goes in the water. He immediately recocks. Second one in the water. Puts some divots into the grass with his club, not from a traditional golf swing, but from some hacks of anger. Recocks one more time, tops it in the water. We double part him out at 8.
Yeah,
I step up and I hit that birdie putt for the first birdie and only birdie of the day for me. But you were very apologetic about your reaction, Dan, and I don't think that was necessary.
I think it is, and I was going to address that. And Braxton, he beat me fair and square. He had the mental fortitude that day, and it was the greens. It was the turntable turned on us from our weekend in Charleston, where I was 3-putting everything at Black Creek, and I lost many, many strokes on the green. And Braxton, he putted better. He just overall played better. But yeah, no, it was inexcusable. My behavior on 9, and I can't be behaving like that in your late 30s and doing basically like a Looney Tunes like club slam into.
And Kaylee can vouch. Last night you were texting me, rehashing the match that we had. And you said 2 things that I was actually cackling in bed. And I think Kaylee was annoyed because I was on my phone just laughing, giggling like a schoolgirl. You said, I can't afford to replace my club, so I can't be hitting them like that. And then you also said, if you wouldn't have let me max out, my whole bag would have been in the water. And that was so funny to me just because I could actually have seen you do that. And I told you, we're both hacks, so I feel
Yes.
bad laughing when you hit a bad shot. It's not me laughing at the
No, I
bad shot.
know.
Me, it's the reaction, and
I
your
know. Yeah.
reaction is priceless.
No, and it happens like the same. Like I was like biting my inner lip maybe once or twice in Charleston. The same thing because we are absolute hacks, an embarrassment to the game sometimes. It was a spirited match, and it's funny. I was like I was feeling myself after Charleston, and you talked a lot of smack. You were for someone that just got their ass beat pretty good, but you backed it up, and I don't think I have been that passionate about a sporting event since the semifinals of the Notre Dame co-ed intramural flag football playoffs in the fall of 2009 when I played against Kevin Doyle's team. That's probably like the most I've cared about a sporting event, and that would be the Gap.
Well, and I love that. And this is what I was going to say. And we can close it on this
Yeah.
and just let it go to bed. But so first off, we counted every stroke. We got a breakfast ball on the very first hole, which I needed because I actually hit mine into the water left. It was a good shot. Just I tried to lay up and I hit it into the water. But so we counted every stroke. So like we shot true numbers of what we shot. We had a guy who was, all Army U.S. Amateur there, like being a rules official, making sure it was straight up. Going into 18, I was only up one stroke because Dan had cut it on those like 14, 15, 16. He had cut it down to a stroke. We held serve, both bogeyed 17. Going into 18 with a one-stroke lead, and I took my driver out. And what I'm getting at is I couldn't hear anything. I feel like I was back in like high school baseball or something, like locked in to a zone where I couldn't really hear anybody. I was taking that shot so seriously, even though at that point I was hitting my 98th stroke of the day. But just getting those competitive juices, it's a beautiful thing about golf. Even regardless of your skill level, if you have a match with somebody, you can always adjust handicaps, adjust whatever, and make it enjoyable. And for guys like us, it's kind of the only way to relive the glory days, if you will. And hopefully we can stay healthy to play it long enough.
And there will be round 3. The rubber match is happening.
Well, Kaylee told me after we played on Saturday that she was owed a date before I found myself on a golf course.
That's very fair.
And with you understanding you're about to move soon, I'm setting quick conditions to make sure that's fulfilled so that there's no excuses for I don't want to call it the final match because I'm going to see you again eventually, but maybe the season 1 final match, before we find ourselves some new venues.
This is the season 1 title round. Absolutely.
I think it's fair to say we can just call it For All the Marbles. We'll market it as For All the Marbles, probably.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable. Okay, well, speaking of dates and family time, let's jump right into the reason for the hiatus in recording, the Lewis trip to the House of Mouse.
Yes. We went to Disney for Elliot's 3rd birthday.
Happy birthday, Elliot.
Happy birthday, Elliot. Just from the top, we were getting in Friday night. I was told Kaylee that we'd leave work at 12 o'clock Friday to get there at a good time to meet our dinner reservations for my dad's 50th.
Oh, happy birthday, Mr. Lewis.
Happy birthday, Mr. Lewis. He also got his 100% VA rating on his 50th birthday. He got his readjusted numbers, so congrats. So as the Army would have it, I did not get to leave at noon. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Of course.
We were on the road promptly around like 4:35, so that was cool. Anyway, we get there Friday night. We go and see, give my dad his birthday present, check in with everybody. Saturday morning, go to the golf course. Me and Gavin had a match against Scott and my dad. So sons against dads. We set the line at me and Gavin 7.5 strokes. Yeah, we did not cover that. We got beat. And really the issue with me and Gavin for that round was just the fact that we were not playing good scramble golf. We either both hit great shots or we both hit bad shots. There was absolutely zero instance where one of us picked the other up.
Mm-hmm.
It was all or nothing. Like, we were playing the same golf round. So they ended up winning, and trust me, their head's still very big about it. They're very proud of that moment, but I'll let the old guys have it. Even Scotty can fluff a chip every now and then. But yeah, so golf Saturday, made our dinner reservation Saturday night, had a great dinner. Sunday, spent the full day at Epcot.
Okay.
Drank around the world, did all the things. Long day. I don't even remember what we did Saturday night after Epcot. What did we do Saturday night after Epcot? I don't remember.
We didn't get back in until late.
We didn't get back in until late. Go to sleep with the girls in the bedroom. Not always the best scenario. Wake up Monday morning, Magic Kingdom, gates open. We're at Magic Kingdom until after the fireworks show was over.
Nice.
Held Elliot for the whole 30-minute fireworks show. My back was on absolute fire. But she had a good time. Went to Bippity Boppity Boutique for her birthday. She got the mini or the Tiana dress, got the hair and makeup done, all to do.
Awesome.
And then the next day, instead of going to Animal Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, Elliot wanted to go back to Epcot, which Daddy was happy about. Was able to have some more brews, and then kind of just closed out our Disney trip that night, and then came back the next day. My favorite part about that is you wanted to talk about it on the show, but the only comments I got out of you for my Disney trip was you alleging that I was a terrible father, making Kaylee hold both my girls while I'm in the background of a photo drinking Miller Lite.
Oh, that was an optical illusion. That was a very, very fun Instagram post. But I didn't see that the girls' feet were on like a ledge or I don't know what it was. But first glance, I see Kaylee in the foreground holding both girls in each arm, and then I see you in the background, almost like a Miller Lite ad, with a pretty big shit-eating grin, holding a Miller Lite, and I was howling laughing, and then I realized that it wasn't exactly what it seemed.
Well, and the grin was what you saw, because we had scoured. I've been to Epcot a lot recently, and Gavin was saying, like, I wish we get a good American beer. And in America, I thought they only had like some just random IPAs and Bud Light. And one of the things near like the little mobile shops, they had Miller Lite on ice. And I was so excited to pay $9.50 for a Miller Lite.
12 ounce.
But it was a Miller Lite in Orlando, so I was happy about it.
That's awesome. And in the chat, we got Miss Lewis. Brax, you seem to win when you don't talk smack. I'm not so sure about that, because an unreal amount of smack and had his way with me on Saturday.
I'll tell myself, Dan, because when I started to feel myself pretty well is we had a par 5 that I had played terribly. Dan had played pretty well. On my approach shot, I took out a 7-wood. I hit a cut 7-wood, hit it 80 yards right, pin high.
So you almost killed those two guys.
Almost killed two dudes who were just vaping their lives off on the other opposite tee box. And I was like, well, Dan's going to smoke me on this hole. I ended up hitting a pretty good chip over the tee, over these two dudes who insisted on just watching me chip instead of driving. They had no one in front of them. Anyway, I get up there. Dan had a birdie or par putt. He had a birdie putt. He hit it way short. Had a par putt from about 9 feet. I had a double bogey putt from like probably 9 feet as well. I asked him if he wanted to go good. He said no. He proceeded to hit 2 more putts, and I nailed mine. We ended up tying, but that was pretty bad. And then the last thing, and this is fair or foul, I'll take opinions in the comments. Talked about what happened on the 9th hole, the birdie and the max out on Dan. Hole 10, you had a par 5. I think I was in for par, or I was in for 6. And Dan had like a, 5 or 6 footer downhill, and I made him putt it out, and he ended up missing it and chalking a double bogey. I took a lot of flack for that.
That was foul. That was foul. Yeah, we had, as fun as it was having the All Army golf player, and a single digit handicap, keeping it honest, making sure following the rules. They were like those two old guys in the Muppets up in the rafters the whole time, and that definitely got in my head as well.
Well, what was frustrating about Serp and Lucas was you didn't know who they were cheering for, not even hole by hole, but shot by shot. They were just deciding who they wanted to just attack at any given time. But they did let us play it out on 18, except for on 18, if you remember, I had that downward chip into the – I was going down grain to a decelerated green with a big drop-off. And my whole time in my head, I was like, don't skull this, don't skull this, don't skull this. And then I could see Lucas just whispering to Serpico.
Yeah.
He's going to burn the screen. So that was bad, but it was all right.
It was fun. I think it's a good transition talking Muppets. We're trying to do like more segments on the show, and I think this will be a fun, game for the two of us. Disney, Muppets movies. I want to go through almost like a Mount Rushmore, but there's some rules to it, of your favorite or all-time Disney sports movies. And we'll each pick ours, breaking them down by the four major North American sports, so football, basketball, baseball, hockey. And then a fifth movie is whatever, miscellaneous sport, whatever have you. So I'm not sure how much of like a Disney guy you are. And we'll look up like what the Rotten Tomatoes scores were for these movies. So if they actually were like well received, or just your personal favorite. So we'll take a few minutes, I think, to do that. So you can start dealer's choice, and definitely some chat participation in this segment. So fire away, Braxton.
All right, just so I'm understanding, from basketball, baseball, football, hockey.
Yep.
Okay, I'll lead off. Can I take baseball first for my?
Yeah, and we can overlap too. It's not like a draft. Okay. Like we can agree. I'm just curious, and we'll go back and forth.
And I would love we have 6 people watching. I'd love if people get in the chat and add. But for baseball, and this is my overall favorite sports movie that Disney's produced, is The Rookie.
Oh, I was thinking that's a good pick.
Starring who was it? Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid. Talking about the story of Jim Morris.
Yep.
Great film. Very well done for Disney. I feel like Disney can sometimes get a little cheesy or just wait, but it was very well done. The story of Dennis Quaid, or Jim Morris, starring Dennis Quaid, really cool, inspirational. A guy who was drafted really high, I think, out of high school, ended up going to college in Texas, Ranger College, I think. And they're getting drafted like 4th overall in the amateur draft in the 80s by the Yankees. Gets hurt in the minors. I think he posted like a sub 500 record in the minors. Becomes a high school coach in Texas, and then finds his way playing 2 years for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays on their pro team, and actually finished in the movie. He does strike out the guy in his first appearance after getting called up. He does get the 4-pitch strikeout in that game in September, but his actual final appearance with the Rays was at Yankee Stadium, where he was originally drafted from the very beginning. So that's kind of cool. But It's a great movie. Really well done.
That's a great pick. And Disney does do amazing biopics, or, like based on a true story. And I just looked it up. I had no idea. This has an 84% on the tomato meter from Rotten Tomatoes. No endorsements. But that's a good score. That's a good score.
Yeah, and I don't know what the audience score is, but usually when you can get both of those lined up, that's how you know you've really hit all spectrums of demos, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. The Rookie, great pick. That was on my list too. Was The Rookie, but I know in the chat, this honorable mention for me, Angels in the Outfield as well. Danny Glover, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, young Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Angels in the Outfield. Christopher Lloyd's in that. That's a classic.
So Angels Outfield is your baseball pick?
The Rookie's actually my pick. We're aligned on that one.
Okay, we agree. I love when we agree. It's not every time. So for football, I think we have to. So can I say the obvious one that you have to go with, and then I would add a second?
Yeah, I think we're going to agree on the first one.
Obvious is Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
We don't have to belabor that point. Great cast.
Yep.
Phenomenal cast, and then phenomenal story, phenomenal message, phenomenally, really well done. Honorable mention, The Game Plan, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Wow. That's when he has like the young daughter, right? That he finds out about.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
that's a good honorable mention.
That probably came out when you were like in high school, and it came out when I was like more of a kid. So maybe that one like is a little more.
I don't think I've seen that one, but yeah.
We're gonna add that to your homework too.
Okay. Now I need to see. I don't know if this is a Disney movie, and I should have done better homework. But Gridiron Gang,
Not Disney.
not Disney.
I bet it's Fox Century.
Let's see.
5 on Fox Century.
Yeah, Columbia Pictures. Dang it. I love Gridiron Gang. Another Rock movie.
There's another Disney football movie. It's about the guy for the Eagles.
Oh yeah, is it Invincible?
Yeah, wasn't he joined the open
With
tryout?
Mark Wahlberg? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That's a good football movie.
I think that was Disney. Pretty sure
That was Disney.
That was a good one.
Basketball. I'm gonna go. This one, probably not a well-known one, but Glory Road.
We're 3 for 3 right.
The story of Texas Western, now UTEP, run to the I think it was a 56 NCAA basketball tournament. First, all starting 5 all black team.
66.
66.
And they were playing University of Kentucky Wildcats.
Right.
I like the movie a lot. I watched it at 10th Frame Cinemas in Mount Vernon, Kentucky for the first time. The only thing about that movie is I feel like they gave Adolph Rupp a kind of a bad rep.
Yeah, they did. They made him like the villain.
They made him the villain. I don't know. You know what? Maybe it was fair, but like I still don't like it.
Yeah.
You know. So like we were kind of the butt of that joke, or like the antagonist of the film. But no, it's a good movie. We're 3 for 3. I kind of hate that we're 3 for 3. I wish we weren't 3 for 3.
Yeah. Honorable mention, Air Bud. I love Air Bud.
I have a bad feeling we're going to be 4 for 4 with hockey, because there's an obvious choice for hockey as well.
This one I think is a little closer. And I'm going to go more like silly Disney, not a biopic. And you might be thinking the same thing. I think the obvious pick is Miracle. I'm going to go Mighty Ducks, but not the original. I'm going to go Mighty Ducks 2 when they play in the Junior Goodwill Games, because Iceland is just the ultimate villain. Wolf, the dentist Stenson, the femme fatale in The Trainer that Gordon Bombay falls head over heels for. That's the best one by far.
Sure. It makes me laugh because like Ronnie Bell, she's a big number 2 girl.
Okay, so yeah, that's right. Yeah,
she'll only watch Little Mermaid 2, Cinderella 2.
That's really cute, actually.
Moana 2 coming out was really big for her, because then she could transition to Moana 2. She's not big on her. She really likes the sequels. So it just made me think of that. Regardless of which one's better, she's going to take the sequel. I think it's hard for her to really understand the plot of Little Mermaid 2, because she don't think she's ever watched Little Mermaid 1. Like, she just refuses to watch that one. She just rolls with what she's got.
That's fantastic. Big number 2.
Golf obvious as well. I watched this golf movie with you guys in the room in Poland about a year ago for the first time.
I'm trying to remember if we watched that. Are we talking the greatest game ever played?
Correct.
Yeah. That was, dang, this is kind of weird. That was going to be my like random pick. I think there's a lot of good honorable mentions.
I had the best random pick.
Go for it.
Johnny Capahala back on board. If you haven't
watched
the
Johnny Tsunami sequel, is that?
It's Johnny Capahala back on board. He is.
I gotta Google it. What
it took place.
I'm not gonna be able to spell this.
It took place in Hawaii.
I think it's a sequel to Johnny Tsunami. Yeah, Disney Channel original movie, a sequel to the 1999 film Johnny Tsunami.
Okay, well maybe that's where Ronnie Bell gets it from because I didn't know it was a sequel to anything when I watched it.
The original is fantastic. Wait, you've never seen Johnny Tsunami?
I have not, but I've seen Johnny Capahala back on board, and I remember being at Fort Knox, Kentucky, in 3rd grade, and it took place in Hawaii, and they had those dirt skateboards, and I thought they were the absolute coolest thing ever invented. I wanted to dress like them. I wanted to procure one of these things. I don't even know where I couldn't buy one anywhere, but I was obsessed with that movie for a hot minute.
Yes, this was 2007, so I was a senior in high school. I have not seen this, but I vividly remember the original 1999 film Johnny Tsunami. That was an OG Disney Channel original movie.
Is High School Musical a sports movie?
Oh, that's a good fair foul. I think the original is a sport.
The original is a sport. In number 2, they play golf and baseball.
I don't think I've only seen number 1.
I think it's a sports movie.
Have you seen? I got 2 randos more on the same vein as. Let's see if I can pronounce it. Johnny Capahala back on board. Extreme sports. I have Brink, another Disney Channel original movie about Team Pup and Suds, Eric Von Detten against Team X Blades in just some extreme inline skating. That might be before your time. Have you seen Brink?
I haven't seen that one.
Kaylee's seen Brink.
Kaylee's mouth is wide open right now.
Brink is great. All caps. And then another extreme movie, a sequel. This is a 2. A Goofy movie, Extreme, the sequel. That's not the title. What is? I think we
watched that one.
Goofy movie, extremely Goofy movie, 2000. I gotta know what did that get on Rotten Tomatoes? I need to know this answer.
Brink came out in '98, so I was 1 year old when Brink came out, so I did miss that one.
You missed a good era in like the late '90s with the OG Disney Channel original movies.
Well, I did watch. This was mid '90s, and I wasn't born yet, but I did watch it. Was The Big Green?
Yeah, that's another good movie. That's Disney.
Yep.
I like Big Green. That's very similar to. It's got some of the same cast members as Sandlot. I'm pretty sure. The goalie for sure.
The goalie, yes.
Sandlot, not a Disney movie. Kind of surprising.
Phenomenal film. Secretariat, Kaylee in the comment mentioned Secretariat. I went to, when I was in 6th or 7th grade, a girl I went to school with was an extra in Secretariat. She was casted.
Pretty cool.
Filmed in Kentucky.
So it was fun. Like Disney, I was thinking of like topic ideas, and I was like, how can we work Disney in sports? And I was like, there are actually a ton of Disney sports movies.
Is Cars a sports movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I want to make sure
that's definitely. I mean, it's based on Lightning McQueen.
Can I tell you this? And we can close with this, but I have one last one that's a weird sports movie that I was also into. Jump In, starring Corbin Bleu. Competitive.
Double Dutch.
Yes, I was into that. That was 2007. I was 10 years old.
I didn't realize how deep you were into High School Musical. I guess you would have been like that. Like, I don't even know. I feel like I was in high school when High School Musical became a thing.
So I'll tell myself. I was in 3rd grade, and was I in 3rd grade? No, I may have been 5th grade. I think we were in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and it was all the hotness, for all the girls. But I watched it with I don't know if I watched it with my parents, but I watched it at home. I think I watched it with my mom, maybe. And like I was like scared to death and petrified to like admit to the people at school that I've watched it. But I low key but then I would argue like, hey, like why wouldn't a 5th grade boy enjoy a movie with Vanessa Hudgens, London Tipton? I don't know if she was in it. Ashley Tisdale. Like pretty good cast for a young boy to enjoy watching. And then obviously Zac Efron's a solid guy. So pretty legit cast.
I think it's a very legit cast.
I think Sharpay was misunderstood, if you ask, for my honest opinion. But
Yeah, you're saying these names, Sharpay, London, Tisdale. I'm not tracking.
Oh wait, and this was not a Disney movie, I don't think. But can I just do an honorable mention for an early 2000 movie? It's not even sports related. I just want to make sure people
So
understand.
yeah, just going off the rails here, but sure, this is you're a named host.
Kangaroo Jack. Do people
Wait,
talk about that movie
where?
enough?
I mean, it was a jacked kangaroo. It's probably pretty athletic, but like, where did that come from?
It just came. Did you watch Kangaroo Jack?
I know it had what's his name, Anderson, the actor. I forget his first name, but he's in a lot of stuff.
Had yeah, it had Anthony Anderson and
Anthony
Jerry
Anderson.
O'Connell.
Yeah,
And Christopher Walken.
I couldn't tell you what that movie was about, other than it had a cocky kangaroo and Anthony Anderson.
I loved it. I'm sorry. I just thought about it, dude. I'm sorry.
Are you still on the back? Is that the back medicine?
No, it just we're talking about all these old movies, and I just Kangaroo Jack. I don't know. That movie rocked.
Okay.
So
Lou endorsed Kangaroo Jack. So what I got homework. I got to see Kangaroo Jack, and I got to see what was the one that you were not happy with me not seeing.
Johnny Capahala back on board.
I can't believe that you went with that.
I was
without even knowing Johnny Tsunami.
I guess did you watch? So Kaylee's seen Johnny Tsunami. I haven't seen Johnny Tsunami. I don't know if that maybe was his cousin. They have different last names. I see the first name resemblance though.
I'm pretty sure it's the same character. Johnny Tsunami is it's just like a play on words because he's a surfer originally from Hawaii. That's the
I go back
fish out of water and becomes a snowboarder.
I would almost argue that maybe Kapahala is the name of a mountain there.
That was fun. No, we'll do more stuff like that.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
I'm big on transitions being smooth. So as we're talking about 2003, which is when Kangaroo Jack came to fruition, something else came about in 2003 when I was a young 6-year-old, and that is my baseball card collection.
Oh, cool binder.
So I just want to walk you through this real quick. My dad made this. I'm pretty sure he printed this all off in the office. And this is 2000, early 2000 quality. So we got Jim Edmonds right here, Sammy Sosa, Chip, Andrew Jones, Mark McGwire.
And all-star starting lineup. Nice.
Presumably I was number 5 on my Little League team at this time, and it's Braxton Lewis's card collection. I was also a big Cardinals guy at the time, so on the back there's just a big Cardinals printout. So something that I wanted to do, actually the lost segment,
episode.
The lost episode from our last time was going to be, I had found my card collection, and like I said, I started collecting these in 2003 up till present. Really, I have a lot more cards that just aren't slotted into the thing. I need more of the 3x3 card sleeves. So if anyone wants to buy me some more 3x3 card sleeves, I'll gladly accept. I've ran out. But so really, Dan, this ranges from 2003 to the present baseball cards. That does not mean that the players only played from 2003 to present. I have cards that were historical cards, that were minted in those years. So I want to do a segment. I think you're probably the smartest guy I know, or at least the smartest guy that I have any relationship with. So I just kind of wanted to go a couple pages, probably let's call it 5.
Okay.
And I just want to see, I'm going to flip to a random page. I'm going to pull their card. I'm going to tell you the year. Mm-hmm. So you'll know the year the card was for that player. And I just want you to give me the team.
Okay.
How do you like going off the bat? Can you give me like out of 5 what you think you're going to get?
I'll be happy with 3.
3 of 5?
Yeah, 2000. I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay. So I'm gonna start off with one that, in theory, should be easy, but I don't know if it's going to be for you.
Okay.
The year is 1996.
Okay.
The name is Ricky Henderson.
Okay. 96. Ricky Henderson. So I'm trying to remember if he went back to the A's
I'll-
at that point. I want to actually. I think I'm going to say Yankees. Final answer.
Padres.
Dang, that was way off.
Just,
When was he on the
just-
Yankees?
So he played for the Yankees from 85 to 89.
Well, I was way off.
After 89 is when he returned to the Athletics. After his second Athletics run, he went to the Padres.
Okay.
And we got Chris in the chat saying our stream's cutting in and out.
Can everyone else hear us pretty good? Is that just the Lewis stream?
Yeah, let's get a comm check in the chat.
We got an excellent connection.
More on Colin later. He just had a kid. I think he thinks.
Yeah,
that's
congratulations seriously to the Atkinsons, producer Colin.
Congrats on your beautiful baby girl.
That's right. More on him later.
Don't forget you still have a day job. All right, Dan.
All right.
You're 0 for 1.
That was a tough start. Ricky's tough. Ricky was all over the place.
I'm going to give you a layup. I want to get you on the board to get the confidence.
I hope I get this.
Year's 2008.
Okay.
Michael Young.
Shoot.
Come on.
Michael Young, 2008.
We've talked about this being my American League team for the preponderance of my life. You know this answer.
American League team for the preponderance of your life.
Not the Sox, the other American League team that I had growing up that I was obsessed with. I watched them play at Yankee Stadium. Told the story.
Mariners?
No. Dude.
No. Wow. I got to get 3 in a row now.
The Rangers.
That's right. Dang it. I knew that. Dang it.
I know you knew that.
Does Michael Young ever play for the Mariners?
He may have. I already put the card back. I don't know.
Looks like it's just the Lewis stream. We got good comms in Massachusetts and in Kentucky. The Commonwealths. That's right. We're Commonwealth boys.
All right. So I'm gonna get you on the board here.
Oh, I hope so.
2005.
5. Okay.
Chris Carpenter.
It's got to be at St. Louis.
Yep.
All right. Whew. All right.
All right. We got. Are you back?
I'm back.
All right.
I'm thinking these are like trick questions.
No, I mean I'm not trying to get you.
No, I know you're just doing random, but I'm now. Ricky got me flustered. I was way off on his Yankees tenure.
Same year, 2005.
2005.
Melvin Mora. How about that name for you right there? And you know this answer. That's why you put your hands in your face, because you should know who Melvin Mora played for.
Baltimore Orioles.
There you go. 2 for 4. How are you feeling about this last one, Dan?
I've been part of. I need to work on my confidence. I feel confident.
You feel confident?
Yeah.
All right, let me get you one that's worth talking about. As I look at this classic Jason Varitek, I'm not going to pull Jason Varitek.
I wish you to get to the 3 that I predicted.
I'm going to give you a tricky one.
Okay.
And the precursor for this is it's not who you think he played for. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
2001.
Okay.
Tim Hudson.
So who did he play for before the Oakland A's? That's the answer. Because he was on the A's definitely in 03 and 04 when his Fenway Park is just a terror chamber for him. Tim Hudson in 2001. I got this. This is can't have dead air on a live show. But
I'll say this: it helps.
Not the trick, but the hint was it's not who I think he played for.
Well, okay, but think about who you're talking to, who my favorite team is.
Yeah,
and you didn't go there. When I think Tim Hudson, I think the Atlanta Braves.
That's funny. I think of the Oakland Athletics. So you're saying it's. Well, I don't think you give me the answer.
Is athletics final answer?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, athletics is final answer.
There you go.
Oh,
All right.
that's really funny that we were that because I think of him as the big three: Barry Zito, Mark Mulder, and Tim Hudson, and then he got signed in free agency to the Braves. That's also, I think, our age gap there.
Yeah, potentially. And that's fair. That's part of the game.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. A's has to be the answer. Yeah.
I think of Braves, and maybe that is an age thing. Though I think of Huddy. I mean, because he's an Auburn guy, so Auburn Braves. I just think Braves.
You messed me up because I was like, that's like A's time frame. That was like the height, not the height. That was probably like right when they were getting started because Barry Zito won the Cy Young in 2002. And Mulder was dealing. Yeah, those guys, they get let. I actually watched Moneyball, another great sports movie, over the weekend, and they talk about like the success of the A's and producing runs. Scott Hatteberg, David Justice. They don't mention those pitchers at all.
No, and I'm glad you brought up Moneyball because the other night in bed, Kaylee was 100% trying to sleep, and I just pulled up Draft Day, and I just raw dog Draft Day in bed at like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm just like so into it. She's like, "What are you watching?" Kevin Costner, dude. All right, I'm gonna give you one just for S and G's.
All right, get me, yeah.
Final one. This isn't on the clock. I just want to see. I want to test you a little bit. 2003, Mark Bellhorn.
2003, Mark Bellhorn. That was before. He was Red Sox 04. Who did he come from? I want to say it was either Cardinals or Rockies. Mark Bellhorn, 2003. I'm going to go Cardinals.
Rockies. He's acquired by
I had it.
December 2003. He was acquired to Boston from the Rockies.
Oh,
you did good. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't think I could have done as well. Like I would have been happy with 2 of 5. And now I'm starting to question my baseball knowledge because my dad even said A's has to be the answer. I don't know. I just think Tim Hudson. I guess that's more the latter part of his career. So,
well, that makes. I mean, like, so what? Look at his card. What year did he join the Braves? It was probably like 05, 06.
Yeah. Well, I had the Tim Hudson 2003 card where he was with the Athletics 01 to 03. I don't know if I can fill it back up.
That's okay. But like that makes sense because you would have been like height of baseball fandom like start of it like 05, 06, 07. Like collecting baseball cards.
Right.
That makes sense.
Well, and can I tell you I went through here and I was looking at them because I remember me and my dad used to take these cards, and this is like sacrilegious people who like care about cards. We used to make lineups. Like we'd pull the cards out and like we'd have a defense and we would like roll dice for like this is a strike, this is a ball, ground out, whatever. But I was going through my cards and I was looking, and 2 players who I have the most cards for is Barry Bonds and Jim Edmonds.
Okay. And
I want to tell a bit of just irony behind Barry Bonds and Jim Edmonds for me. So 2 things. We were living in Missouri at the time. So Barry Bonds in his home run record career, I have like 15 Barry Bonds cards from numerous parts of his career, as well as when he hit his career home run upper deck cards. Actually, probably worth money. A superior sluggers card. Anyway, he was a home run shy, or 1 or 2 home runs shy. And they had a series in St. Louis. They had like a Tuesday home game in Old Busch Stadium. My dad got tickets somehow and pulled me out of school to take me to this game to watch Barry Bonds potentially
that was fantastic.
Get the home run record. Barry Bonds sat that day. Number 2 is growing up, Jim Edmonds was my favorite player. So there we were, St. Louis Cardinals. It was picture day. So on picture day, when you got there early, you got to go on the field, on the warning track and the warning track along like the third base line and first base line to take pictures of the players. They come out, they sign autographs, blah, blah, blah. Two things happened back to back to a young, like 7-year-old me. Jim Edmonds comes by. He doesn't come by. He stays in the back, doesn't come up and shake a single hand, take a single picture, sign a single ball. Edgar Renteria came by, Scott Rollins, all those guys came by. My favorite player, Jim Evans, blew everyone off. So that broke my heart. 10 minutes later, you're playing Cincinnati Reds. There's a flat ground getting thrown right on the third base line. Pitcher throws a wild ball, gets past the catcher, one hops me right in the balls.
Oh, no.
So Jim Edmonds, my childhood hero, blows me off. 10 minutes later, I take a 90-mile-per-hour one-hop fastball to the nuts. Dad had to rush me to the stalls in the bathroom.
Good to see not long-term effects.
It worked. I got three girls. But talk about a very bad day for a 7-year-old who just loves baseball. It's a miracle that I ever came back to the game after that. You'd think I would have sworn it off after that day, but
yeah,
I just keep looking at I flip a page.
MLB should be giving you stuff.
Well, I actually
for fans.
So the Reds guys who were throwing the flat ground, 2 pitchers and 2 catchers signed a ball and gave it to me. And one actually died in a DUI, RIP. I don't remember his name. They were bullpen guys. But, yeah, they did give me a ball for almost taking away any of my daughters that I have now. But
yep. Dad said you took it like a man. Didn't shed a tear, though, when you got that stray ball off of your
Well, I couldn't shed a tear because I remember very vividly there was a couple there who just gotten married. Wife was in her white wedding gown and husband was in his tux, and I probably had a crush on the wife, and I couldn't cry in front of her because 7-year-old me had a shot. So I had to, as I was hugging my dad
at a baseball game. They were in tux and bridal gown.
That's back when St. Louis fans cared. Now they can't get 10,000 people in the stands, but back then they cared. I was a big Cardinals guy.
Doesn't sound comfortable at all.
No, those are the good old days. I love going through these. I have a lot of Andy Pettitte cards. I don't know your opinions on him, but
this is great live.
All right, I'm just going down memory.
Just flipping through his card book and getting nostalgic about Andy Pettitte.
What a guy, dude. Roger Clemens, speaking of Yankees pitchers.
This is pretty cool. I think I knew you're going. This is a cool story.
I don't have that story. You can follow up with that story. Lexington Legends used to be a single-A affiliate of the Houston Astros. He did a rehab at Lexington Legends, and they actually had a framed jersey of Roger Clemens. And I didn't go to his rehab game, but he did play around at Lexington Legends single-A ball, which is now an independent league team. But what do you got for Roger Clemens?
Yeah, so Roger Clemens' son is a second baseman for the Minnesota Twins. I'm blanking. I want to say it's Cody Clemens, something like that. And he hit a home run at Fenway Park in their weekend series against the Red Sox. And Clemens was there, Clemens family in a skybox. Pretty special moment for the Clemens family.
And I don't want to go completely off the rails, but I did finally watch I watched that Red Sox Yankees.
Oh, Clubhouse.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to be a Yankees fan so bad. I really do.
What? Where's this coming from? You want to be a Yankees fan?
Red Sox fan. Excuse me.
All right. Because you've talked so much about the Red Sox being your American League team, and I hear with conviction, I want to be a Yankees fan. I'm like, excuse me?
I want to be a Red Sox AL fan. I'm always going to be a Braves fan, but I want to be a Red Sox AL fan so bad, but I feel like I need to go there to at least say, I've been to Boston. They call it Mecca, a pilgrimage for diehard baseball fans. Watching a game at Fenway Park it's unbelievable. The whole game day experience. Wrigley's similar too. Wrigley Field's historic ballpark. The old Yankee Stadium, that was a trip going through Monument Park. But we'll get you up there. No, I think we'll get you to a game soon. Even on Full Swing, they were showing when they took Keegan Bradley took all the guys, Rory, and they were hitting balls off top deck, and then they went down to the left field line, and inside the score box and they were signing their names, like just stuff like that. Like these new stadiums, you don't have that. It's really just a cathedral of sports, and you gotta have respect for those type of venues, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that's a good segue as far as, cathedral sports and, classic moments that happen in Fenway Park. And this is going to be, I think, we're going to try this out on Woody Lew Sports and You going forward. A segment, you're a big NASCAR fan. We've talked about this on previous episodes. I'm trying to really get into NASCAR. I've been watching this season, not as much as I'd like, but, pop in for races, looking at results. To pick, and I'll let you pick, having watched many of these races, a classic race to watch, and then we'll take, maybe 5-7 minutes just to talk about that race and like what I saw, what I thought. I think it'd be fun. I know not everyone's into NASCAR, but I know it's a passion of yours, and I think a sport that we could, get people more exposed to.
Yeah, so my NASCAR, I always wanted to like NASCAR. It wasn't really big in my family. My brother-in-law Gavin got me really kind of watching it. And almost sadly, because when we were in Poland staying up, because it seemed like when we were in Poland, every single race last season was getting rain delayed.
Yeah.
So like on a Sunday when like a race should have been starting at like 9 p.m., it would get delayed and like wouldn't set up to like 1 a.m. on Monday morning. So it was kind of unfortunate. But, this season, kind of like you said, I haven't really sat down and fully committed to all the races because, like, if I'm being completely honest, I've been really locked into PGA, the PGA season this year. I don't know why. For some reason, this year for golf, I've really been kind of more dialed, and I've flipped back and forth. But, with NASCAR and people who are watching who don't, haven't watched NASCAR, this may be an opportunity for you just to put your foot in. And if anything, just like whatever race I'm about to say or the races that we discussed, just go in and just watch the final 20 laps of the final stage or final 20 laps of the race, depending on the year. So the one I wanted to start off with is, I was thinking about the time frame because for those of you who don't know, when Dan made – so to Dan's credit, we were in Poland and we had to watch the Daytona 500 on our phones in a cot in the middle of nowhere. And when we got back to our normal living situation with TV and all the amenities, Dan's like, I want to watch. And to Dan's credit, like, yes, he put his best foot forward and we tried to watch races. But, again, a lot of rain delays kind of early. That spring, early spring session, there's a lot of rain delays. So it was hard for us. So Dan decided he was just going to start from the beginning. And I would walk in the room on like at lunch break at like 1 p.m. or something to go grab something from the room. And he'd be in there watching a quick 30-minute highlights of like the 1962 Daytona 500.
Oh, and I'm still on the beach. I love those races.
Yeah. So we're not going that far back. We're going to keep it. I thought for purposes of this kind of bit, I wanted to keep it within the last 15 years. I think last 15 years, you're going to have a mix of people who have phased out in the last 15 years and a phase of people who are still racing. So it's going to be a mix of like, hey, guys who are relevant within the last, 20 and guys who are still racing today. So,
and like the current point system, like how that works. I think that'd be good.
And these are all found on YouTube. I already validated this one is on YouTube. I went ahead and made sure the whole race is on there. So the first one, Dan, and I'm wearing a shirt for it. The Daytona 500 2010.
Okay. So don't say anything more.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna set it up.
Okay.
Not gonna tell you who won, but just go on YouTube. Daytona 500 2010 took place in February, probably February 10th or so. So if you're trying to find it by date, phenomenal race, and GG's Gav. I actually rewatched it this evening just to brush up on it. Dale Earnhardt Jr. makes a phenomenal late push. Kevin Harvick gets screwed, and a guy who you hear almost every Sunday does something spectacular. So that's the one we're going to plug for.
All right. For this I'm excited. Perfect. I think this is great. We came up with the segments, and we're just at the hour. So, any final words, Braxton, for our award-winning listeners?
No, I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you for getting us to 20 subscribers. If you have any person with a heartbeat and a phone and they make payments on that phone and they have YouTube on that phone, please log into it for them and subscribe to Woody Lew Sports and You so that we can grow from 20 to the next milestone being 30. So just keep watching, listening. Catch us on Spotify tomorrow if you didn't get the opportunity to listen to us live. I appreciate it.
Yeah, like Braxton said, like, share, subscribe. Should we even try to give an estimate when we're going to go live next? It's always been a moving target.
Well, with you, I mean, you're about to be moving, so we obviously have to get one within the next week or next week before you kind of lose connectivity for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Want to shoot Sunday night?
We can shoot. We can. It's Mother's Day.
It is Mother's Day. Forgot about that. I need to thank you. I gotta call my mother.
Monday night.
All right. Week from tonight. Lock it in.
Today's Tuesday, but sure.
Good night, everyone. Have a great